Hi everyone, it's Eric Lewis here again for GetZone.com, and we have got another Burris scope that I can't wait to unbox for you. This is their Fullfield 4, and this particular one is a 6-24 power with a 50mm objective. So if you're looking for that bigger scope in terms of the lens size, this also has a 30mm tube. This is going to be something that you definitely need to check out. This also has the SCR MOA reticle. I don't know if you can see that very well there. This thing is very detailed. So if you're a long range shooter, the magnification that this scope offers along with this particular reticle is going to make your life a lot easier in terms of making those fine adjustments without having to physically alter your scope's point of impact. You can just use these quick reference charts that are on the reticle once you've versed yourself with the way that those are laid out and be able to make MOA fine adjustments. But anyhow, back to what we are here to do, that is to look at a new awesome scope. So let me just take that and set it there. Just like all of their other products, you know, they're going to come with the instruction manual in terms of the user guide. It's going to have some information on the product family. This one comes with an Allen key, and I will show you why in just a moment. Little scope lens cloth and some information on all of the different Burris family lines in terms of scopes. So I'm going to set this over here. Once again, we have a cutout dense foam packaging that's not going to allow your scope to be able to slip around during shipments, so you can be confident that it is going to be functional and work as is out of the box. And as you can see, it's very nice presentation also, which is something that you'd always expect from a quality Burris product. Okay, first impression, this scope is heavy. To me, heavy, especially on an optic or something like that, typically means well made, which is exactly what I would only expect from Burris. And once again, I don't want to forget to mention, as I'm moving this tag out of the way, Burris has their Forever Warranty. It's no questions asked, and they are proud of that. Anything goes wrong with your scope, it's broken, anything outside of cosmetic damages or you intentionally destroying your scope, trying to make another YouTube video go viral or something like that, they're not going to ask you any questions, and they are going to replace it. Back to the scope. This thing is heavy, which is a very good sign. It's also got the 30mm tube. It's going to allow a lot more light pass through, which definitely is a huge help when you're at those higher magnifications on your scope. And since this one goes from 6-24 power, that's going to come in handy. I do want to mention that though, if you pick this up, it's not as common. It's getting more common, but more than likely your old scope rings that you have are probably going to be 1 inch. So you don't want to use the wrong scope rings when you mount this up on your gun, or it's going to crush the tube and it's going to damage your rifle scope. So everything on this thing appears to be machine metal. Yeah, it definitely is. So your parallax knob, your turrets, everything is metal. Oh wow, that's very solid as well. Yeah, so your scope adjustments are tight, very tight, which is, if you've ever shot and made adjustments for windage and elevation, you don't want it to be too loose because you can go too far back and forth. You're not going to do that on this. This is solid. I really like that. You got your parallax knob, which I think I've mentioned before, but it is going to focus up everything in terms of whatever distance your target is at. So if it's close and you're having an issue with keeping your reticle and your target in focus at the same time, that's where this is going to come in handy if you've never used one. As with all of their other scopes, it does have the reticle focus knob here, which is personalized to each individual shooter. And then you've got your power ring, which I like the way they did all of these. It's machined into the metal, so rather than being coated in rubber that can over time possibly wear out or just collect dirt and dust, grime, things like that, it's all metal. So I really do like that. A little more rugged appearance as well as in function. Burris uses a multi-coated lens that's going to allow for very sharp clarity edge to edge in terms of what you can see. It's not going to blur out as it nears the edge of your optic. The eye relief, just sitting here holding it handheld, is incredibly generous, and that is a very neat reticle. Not sure if you can see that, but I tried. So I like that. Overall, it's just very, very solid. So as I mentioned, the reticle on this particular scope is the SCR MOA. They do offer two other reticles. One is their Fineplex, which is just kind of a traditional style, but it's going to be fine at the top where it widens, the top, bottom, and the sides, and then it'll taper down obviously into a finer crosshair. The other reticle they have is their Ballistic 3 for this particular model. They do have other magnification variants available for it as well, and they're all going to be in a 4-time factor, which, you know, like this one is 6-24, so whatever you choose is going to be a 4-time variable on minimum to maximum zoom. One other thing, talking about the parallax, this thing is actually, you can focus it to 10 yards, which isn't extremely close, but should that scenario ever pop up where you needed, it's just kind of an example of how versatile it's going to be, that you don't really have to worry about it being too near, which I've actually personally ran into on a scope's parallax before, where I couldn't get it to focus how I wanted. It didn't slow me down from shooting, but just a nice feature that they took the time to engineer into this scope to make it as good as it possibly could be. You know, I mentioned how solid this thing is. Once again, this is another product of theirs that's waterproof, shockproof, and fogproof. It's nitrogen filled, so that's going to counter any kind of fogging issues you might have in high moisture situations, things like that, which is imperative if you're doing any kind of contest as well as any hunting. You know, you definitely want to be able to rely on being able to see through it. Also, with it being shockproof, it's rated for those higher calibers. So if you're shooting those Magnum rounds, or you're shooting a shotgun in some states where you have to hunt shotgun with slugs, things like that, it's going to be fully capable of that. I don't think anybody's going to need a 6-24 power scope for their shotgun shooting slugs, but with those other magnification options that they do offer, you're going to get that same rugged dependability that this scope line offers. Next thing I know you're probably wondering is, well, how much is that scope? This one actually surprisingly retails MSRP $539. So once again, it falls into a very affordable price bracket for what you're getting. I'm not saying $539 is chump change, but for the quality that you're going to get out of this, the performance and reliability you're going to get, it's very, very hard to beat at that price point. So if you're looking for a rifle scope that's in the $500 to $600 range, you need high magnification that's got a lot of variability so that you can go from low to high in a big way. Keeps it very versatile. You want the dependability and reliability of a no questions asked warranty. You definitely need to go check out the Fullfield IV 6-24 by 50 millimeter objective Burris scope by Burris Optics today.